It's time for America Outdoors Radio. The fast-paced hour of outdoors radio ahead is not only awesome, but unlike those other shows, you can actually sleep in for this one. Better still, we've got a special Pacific Northwest edition for you, sponsored by Northwest Sportsman Magazine, Rugged Point Lodge on Vancouver Island, and Northwest Fishing Guides out of our hometown here in Everett. You won't find this version of America Outdoors Radio anywhere else. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio. Brought to you by Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
Oh yes, it is time for the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and we'll be talking to Mike Salazar today. He's the owner of Salt to Summit Charters. He's going to join us at the bottom of the hour to tell you where he has been catching A and B run steelhead on the Snake River this winter, and he'll come back at the end of the hour to share his techniques so you can do it too. But first, let's talk about what's hot and what's not in the Pacific Northwest. If you're up for a road trip to South Central BC, Kootenay Lake is fishing very well this winter. Carrie Reed is the owner of Real Adventures Guide Service and reports there were some cold days on the water this past month, but that didn't keep people from coming out. He has a heated cabin that was very welcome for his clients, and on average, their boat would hook into 10 to 15 fish each trip. Rainbows seem to be the most aggressive, and the bull trout would appear once in a while. The rainbows were between 2 and 5 pounds. Nice fish. And the bull trout up to 8 pounds. Wow, that is worth a road trip. This time of year is a great time to jig for squid in Puget Sound, much closer to home. That's the word from the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, which shares squid fishing is a fun group activity that's easy to learn and doesn't require a boat. Good spots include the Elliott Bay Pier in Seattle and the Edmonds Pier in Edmonds. Hatchery steelhead fishing is an option too. Rivers to consider on the Olympic Peninsula would be the Quileute and the lower portions of the Bogachil, Kilawa, Solduck, and Hoh rivers. Each of those have a daily limit of 3 hatchery steelhead. On the south coastal rivers, that's another option. You can fish the Hump Tulips, the Chehalis, the Wainuchi, and the Satsep rivers. They all have a daily limit of 2 hatchery steelhead. If you're looking for some good end-of-season waterfowl hunting opportunities, head south. Again, according to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, some of the best waterfowl hunting in this region is near the Nisqually Wildlife Refuge and near Henderson, Bud, and Eld Inlets. The Centralia Mine in Lewis County and inlets of Pierce County also offer good waterfowl hunting opportunities. If you want to go even further south and west to Pacific and Grays Harbor counties, both geese and ducks tend to concentrate in the Willapa and Chehalis River valleys, although ducks can also be found near Willapa Bay and Grays Harbor. Checking Creel reports, there was definitely some effort in the San Juan Islands and some decent success too this past weekend, with 10 boats launching out of Anacortes, boating 14 salmon both Saturday and Sunday. There were also 10 boats checked out of Friday Harbor. They had 11 fish. And on the other side of things were a little slow in Everett. The boats that were checked were not many, and they didn't have a lot of success. One place you won't be seeing Creel reports from is Marine Area 9, which is not going to open as scheduled on January 16th. The problem, according to the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, is that fishery projections indicate that reopening January 16th would lead to an early closure of Area 9 by reaching the allowable limit of total Chinook encounters earlier than the April 15th closure date. So, this area will likely open in mid-February or early March. There is one exception to this, though. The Edmonds Pier remains open for fishing, as do other year-round piers located in Marine Area 9. So there you go. That's what's hot and what's not this week in the Pacific Northwest.
And with that, let's head to this week's national edition of America Outdoors Radio.
2017 is here, and that means it's time to go to the biggest and the best sportsman shows in the Northwest. Brought to you by O'Laughlin Trade Shows. Things kick off with the Washington Sportsman Show from January 25th through the 29th at the State Fairgrounds in Puyallup. Following that is one of the biggest shows in the country, the Pacific Northwest Sportsman Show, taking place at the Expo Center in Portland from February 8th through the 12th. And don't forget the Central Oregon Sportsman Show, March 2nd through the 5th at the Deschutes County Fairgrounds in Redmond. Check out seminar schedules, special attractions, and discounts at otshows.com. That's otshows.com for the biggest and best sportsman shows in the Northwest.
It's time for America Outdoors Radio, the show that covers the outdoor scene across the U.S. of A. and the entire continent. Fishing, hunting, conservation, outdoor recreation, and great destinations, we cover it all every week. It's your country, your outdoors. Let's explore it together with your host, John Cruz.
The politics of fishing. They can be infuriating because there's only so many fish, so many crabs, so many shrimp, and quite often, especially in the ocean, there are competing interests who all want the biggest slice of the pie they can grab. What special interests am I talking about here? Well, most of you listening to this show who fish are in one of them. We are the sports fishermen and women who purchase our licenses and spend our money in our local economies to catch tuna, billfish, trout, salmon, steelhead, bass, and more. Then there are the commercial interests. These are the men and women who are generally making a living out on the ocean. You'll find them on board boats, netting or longlining for different species of fish, or hauling up pots of crab, lobster, or shrimp. Finally, there is a group that is overlooked but holds a lot of power in certain parts of the country. They are the Native American tribes promised by treaty and through court decisions to have a certain amount of the fish available. In the Pacific Northwest, relations between these three groups has been very strained. On the Columbia River, separating the borders of Oregon and Washington, commercial gill netters have long gotten their salmon with this effective but non-discriminate manner that pretty much kills everything it nets, to include not only the hatchery salmon they're targeting, but also the wild salmon that find their way into these nets, and other species too, like sturgeon. An agreement was reached a couple of years ago to remove gill nets from the main portions of the river and off to the sides of the river to reduce wild salmon and steelhead mortality, but Oregon has wavered on this agreement, and the Washington Fish and Wildlife Commission is meeting this weekend to decide whether they will uphold their end of the bargain or not. Meanwhile, the North of Falcon season-setting process for salmon in the Northwest between the tribes and sports fishermen was an absolute disaster last year, with the tribes not budging from their demands in negotiations with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. The acrimonious meetings led to a delay in the opening of the salmon season in Puget Sound and also led to a lot of lost dollars and opportunity. This year, there is a petition circulating among sports anglers demanding the meetings be open to the public to attend. The state would likely go along with this because of the liberal public disclosure and meeting laws on the books in Washington state, but the tribes want none of it. This is another issue that we should have an answer about soon. In the end, there's a lot of frustration out there, not just in the Northwest, but all over the country, as these groups compete for our fisheries and sometimes a steadily dwindling supply of them as well. I just hope that anglers and conservationists win some of these arguments, and if you're interested in joining a group that advocates for these interests on behalf of anglers, you might want to check out the Coastal Conservation Association. They are doing some really good work in this regard. This week on the show, we'll be talking to Kevin Hurley with the Wild Sheep Foundation about the Sheep Show taking place in Reno January 19th through the 21st. After that, we'll chat with John Kirk about the International Sportsman's Expo show in Sacramento. This one is also going off on January 29th and runs through the 22nd with 625 exhibitors and 200 seminars. It may well be the largest sportsman show taking place on the West Coast. We'll stay in California but head north towards Eureka when we interview Michelle Fuller, the board president of the Mad River Alliance. She's going to tell you about the Humboldt Steelhead Derby going on now through the end of March on the Mad, Eel, and Trinity Rivers. And sticking with steelhead, and also talking about salmon, we'll be joined after that by Mike Salazar with Salt to Summit Guide Service about fishing the lower Columbia River for both of these species. We've got outdoors news about becoming an outdoors woman programs in Alaska, Montana, and California. And we'll talk to Kyle Klaus with Liberty Safes about gun safes and what you want to look for when you're going to buy one for your home or office. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, we're talking to Kevin Hurley with the Wild Sheep Foundation about the annual Sheep Show. It's taking place January 19th through the 21st in Reno, Nevada, home to one of our affiliates, KKFT. Kevin, tell our listeners exactly where in Reno the show is taking place and what it's all about.
Okay, John, this is what we call Sheep Show, Sheep Week. It's our big event of the year, and it'll take place at the Reno Sparks Convention Center. And like you said, the 19th through the 21st, 21st. The doors open at 10 a.m. on Thursday the 19th, and we have all of Thursday, all of Friday, all of Saturday. We have evening banquets, evening auctions. We've been coming to Reno, a lot of years, and so we're really looking forward to coming back. We had the last 3 years have been really great back-to-back records, and we're hopeful for another very good turnout and very good show this year.
So you're going to have several hundred exhibitors there at the convention center, and during the day, folks are going to be in there. Who are some of these exhibitors? Are we talking about conservation organizations? Are we talking about hunting guides and outfitters? Tell me more.
Boy, it's quite a diverse array. I think the numbers I heard today is we have 350 exhibitors, and it's everybody from artists, sculptors, firearms manufacturers, hunting outfitters, fishing trips, travel, furs, jewelry, artwork, you name it. It's really a diverse mix of exhibitors, and of course, we really appreciate their support year after year. We've got some exhibitors that have been with us 30, 35 years, and so we think that's a really good show on their part to have that confidence in us and keep coming back. So we've got a youth program all day Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. It's called YWCE, and it stands for Youth Wildlife Conservation Experience, and that's right on scene at the Reno Sparks Convention Center. So it's quite a diverse 3.5 days, John.
Are you going to have some seminars from some of the experts who are going to be talking, maybe biology, maybe hunting, that sort of thing?
You bet. And we have a full seminar schedule on our webpage and, of course, in the day program. But we've got a variety of speakers on everything from physical fitness, how to get in shape for a sheep hunt, to long-range shooting and what kind of practice and skill needs to go into that. Everything from deer to bears to you name it. So, yes, there is quite a diverse array of speakers during these seminars. And, again, those are all 3 days, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Kevin, I imagine that you're going to have some great items in both the silent auction and the live auction. I'm sure some of those are going to include some guided trips for sheep, whether they be up in Canada or Alaska or here in the continental U.S. And these proceeds are going to benefit the Wild Sheep Foundation. Why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about the organization you belong to and what you do?
Okay, well, I'd say we started in 1974, John, and it was successful sheep hunters from the Midwest that had a series of great experiences, and they got together on, the story goes, a snowy weekend and said, what can we do to put something back into the resource that we've all enjoyed so much? And so that was the genesis of what was called the Foundation for North American Wild Sheep back in 1974. I think we were incorporated in 77, our first convention. My involvement came in 1981.
Wow.
When I was a budding graduate student, and so the Wild Sheep Foundation, which is what we're doing business as now, FNAWS is the old acronym, they funded my graduate work between Cody and Yellowstone Park on a bighorn sheep study, and then I spent a career with the Wyoming Game and Fish Department as a wildlife biologist and had the chance to specialize and spend extra time on mountain sheep and mountain goats, which are my two favorite critters. So yeah, we've got probably almost 7,000 members all over, international. We've got a lot of members in the West, but we have a lot in the eastern states, and people go, well, there's no wild sheep there. No, but they're wild sheep conservationists.
Right.
And we pride ourselves on that. We are a conservation organization first and foremost. And so, our mission statement reflects that, and it's something we look at every day. And everything we do is vetted against our mission statement. So we're about wild sheep conservation. That's what we do.
So let's send folks to your website so they can find out more about your organization and about Sheep Week and the Sheep Show, which I presume is open to the public.
It is. We have day passes. We have full convention registrations. It's just a matter of what folks have time and ability to do. And so I'm looking at, we do have our new website up. It rolled out between Thanksgiving and Christmas, and I would direct people to wildsheepfoundation.org and look under the convention tab, and it's all right there.
All right, that's wildsheepfoundation.org for the Sheep Show, taking place during Sheep Week, January 19th through the 21st in Reno, Nevada. Kevin, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
You bet.
Do you long to hunt Africa's most dangerous big game? Big Game Hunting Adventures offers that. Hunting free-range Cape buffalo in some of the wildest untamed country left on the continent. You'll be the only hunting party tracking free-range buffalo on 160,000 acres of land where the borders of Mozambique, South Africa, and Zimbabwe meet. They include pickup at Johannesburg International Airport, and they're among the most affordable you'll find in all of Africa. Book your safari today at BigGameHuntingAdventures.com.
Master Marine in Mount Vernon, Washington specializes in fishing and fun. We offer 7 brands of boats, including Osprey, Sea Sport, Sea Dory, Tomcat, Lunt, Weldcraft, and Thunderjet. We also offer Suzuki, Yamaha, and Mercury motors. In other words, no matter what you're fishing for, we've got the boat for you. Drop by Master Marine at 330 East Blackburn Road in Mount Vernon to see what's on the lot, or go online to mastermarine.com. That's mastermarine.com.
Oregon's Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the West Coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Planning your next hunting trip in Oregon or Washington? Our Rams Game Management Unit maps show you the big picture on where you're going, as well as the topography and road trail information to help you get there. And they've got public land information, Game Management Unit boundaries, and UTM information for GPS users to keep you out of trouble. Rams Game Management Unit maps are a great planning tool for safe and successful hunts. Look for Rams maps at your local sporting goods store, or see our entire line of maps on the web at bigskymaps.com.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business.
Alaska Fish on Charters has 4 saltwater boats and 5 riverboats, along with the best guides to run them. We've been in business for over 24 years fishing the Kenai Peninsula waters. I guarantee great prices and smiles on your faces when you leave the Great Alaska. We fish king salmon, red salmon, silver salmon, and pink salmon, and trophy trout in the Kenai River. Our saltwater boats fish for halibut, lingcod, rockfish, and salmon. Don't miss out on this trip of a lifetime with Alaska Fish on Charters. Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market, and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Did you check out this month's edition of Northwest Sportsman Magazine? If you didn't, you're missing out, because it's the best publication out there that covers the fishing and hunting scene, not only in Washington State, but in the entire Northwest. Northwest Sportsman Magazine has got great writers and great content you need to have to be successful. Northwest Sportsman Magazine is the publication for you. Find out more at nwsportsmanmag.com or pick up a copy at a newsstand near you. Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and this portion of the show is brought to you by California Sportsman Magazine. It is the monthly magazine that covers all sorts of things, fishing, hunting, and outdoors related in the state of California. Look for it at a newsstand near you. One thing this magazine is definitely covering is what is perhaps the biggest sportsman show on the entire West Coast. It's the Sacramento International Sportsman's Exposition Show, taking place at the State Fairgrounds in Sacramento, January 19th through the 22nd. With us here to tell you more about it is Director of Communications, John Kirk. Welcome to the show, John.
Hey, John. Good to be here.
So, the ISE show, just how big is this, and how does it compare to the other shows in the West Coast?
Well, we have about 640 different companies exhibiting from all over the world. I think the show in Portland is similar, if not a little bit larger, and the show in Long Beach is probably similar, although that focuses a little bit more on saltwater and typical fishing. The Northwest show is all things outdoors, great show. Our show is certainly huge and combines a combination of exhibitors that you might not find in as many numbers in the other shows, and that includes hunting and fishing lodges from all over the world, as well as lodges, guides, and outfitters from throughout California and the West. And then a gigantic boat show that encompasses a giant building plus outdoor space, and then a giant RV show that combines a bunch of outdoor space. So a lot of bulk space is what we call it, which is large spaces with big items, as well as a lot of 10 by 10s, which is what's important for most attendees because it offers the fine grain resolution of the outdoor products and destinations that folks really like to see.
One thing that I saw browsing the website for the show is you've got, 200 seminars covering all different aspects of the outdoors. And some of those are very different from what you normally see. For instance, you have the sporting dogs seminars, and you have kayak fishing or kayaking seminars as well.
Yeah, the person who created the company in the mid-'70s was an outdoorsman, and he didn't do one thing. He did everything outdoors. And so his approach was the outdoors is a game, and people who like one game should be exposed to other games because then they'll find more things to do and they'll enjoy it. And every outdoor person usually has an evolution from, not knowing much and to knowing quite a bit. And what they like to do in the outdoors changes as they mature in the sport. And sometimes they like to move on to other sports. So while we bring together the destinations, we also bring together the products, and then we bring together the experts so that, the cliche is to say it's a one-stop stop for the outdoors, but it's really true when you can go to one place and talk to the expert and see a seminar in dog training or kayak fishing or downriggers or big game hunting or fly fishing. And you can do that in one spot and talk to the experts at each particular thing. That increases your enthusiasm, increases your knowledge, and we hope it inspires people to support our vendors. We're in business to be a business, but we want to make sure that we offer as much value to our consumer as possible. We're understanding that anybody can shop for virtually anything, any instant of the day, every day of the year, and so we have to offer something more, and that more is a very diverse, robust, rich experience of the outdoors to gather with as diverse a group of outdoor enthusiasts as possible and get as much done in one place at one time and feel comfortable about the product that you're buying because you perhaps talk to the manufacturer or the rep or the factory or book a guide trip by talking to the guide and, spending a half an hour with him and finding out if he's going to be a good match. Right. Or going on the dream trip to Alaska or to South Africa, talking to the professional hunter who's going to be, with you there, or the lodge owner who's going to be, taking care of you. All those things face-to-face make a big difference, we think, and you end up building a relationship, which is, what's enjoyable and makes for a better experience.
No, you're absolutely right, John. And, it's funny because I've gone through that exact process with guides, and especially on some of these dream trips where, maybe you want to go up to British Columbia and do some fly-out fishing, and there's like 3 or 4 people that offer it. And you're right. It's about finding exactly the right match for you, and a lot of times that has to do with the personality, and you really get that from those face-to-face conversations that you're going to get at these shows. And not to mention the fact, folks, that generally speaking, there's show specials offered by these guides and outfitters and lodges that are way better deals that you're going to find on their website that you normally see. Let's talk about something else here. Any special attractions that folks ought to be aware of this year?
Oh, wow. I always answer this question by saying it's hard to say. We have 8 or 9 theaters. We have hands-on activities like 2 off-road test tracks. We have fly casting ponds, fly tying theaters, a fishing theater, a kayak theater, a fly fishing theater, an adventure theater, a sporting dog arena, the California Sportsman Radio Theater, where the top guides in Northern California talk just about conventional fishing, fresh and saltwater. And I guess the thing that pleases me most is having a giant youth fair that occupies 3 buildings and is made up of probably 20 different nonprofit organizations, the big ones, like the National Rifle Association and the Boy Scouts, but also California Fish and Wildlife, California Waterfowl Association, California Inland Fisheries Foundation. All those folks come together in a single place, and they offer hands-on fishing and shooting and hatchet throwing and fly tying and all sorts of activities for kids, all free, with all the gear and all the guides provided. And all of our shows actually offer children 15 and under free entrance to the show with an adult. That's our commitment to the future of our business, but also to the future of our sport, by recruiting new, younger people and making it as easy as possible for them to experience the outdoors in a very safe, usually indoor location. And as they're single parents and people who don't maybe know the outdoors because they're urban dwellers, but maybe have interest in some of the outdoor activities, they may not know where to go in their local area. And so we try to offer those authorities and those experts and those trusted groups for them to connect with, so that when we leave town, the parent, knows who to go to and ask questions and begin their investigation into the outdoors for their kids or their family.
Wow, this sounds fantastic. We're starting to run short on time, but let's talk about admission prices and whether you can buy tickets for more than one day and a website to steer folks to.
Sure. It's $17 for entry, but we have $3 off coupons available throughout the marketplace, and people can actually enter on our website and get even greater discounts. But the best thing to do is to go to our website, which is sportsexpos.com, and check out the places to get the coupons. They're all over.
All right, that's sportsexpos.com. Sportsexpos.com is the place to go to find out more about the Sacramento ISE show. It's going to be huge. It's coming up the 19th through the 22nd, and I don't think you want to miss it if you live anywhere close to Sacramento. John, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you, John, very much.
Limit out with Kingfisher welded sport fishing boats, the fastest growing brand of heavy gauge welded aluminum boats in the Pacific Northwest. There are 4 new exciting models for 2017. The popular Falcon model is deeper and wider, and walleye anglers will love the 18-foot Warrior. If you want to step up your game in the saltwater, check out the new 22-foot Escape Hardtop and the 23-foot Coastal Express. Fish the good times with Kingfisher welded sport fishing boats. We understand, because we fish too.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
Next up on the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, we're talking to Mike Salazar. He is a fishing guide, lives in the Walla Walla area. And Mike, you've been fishing over in the Snake and Clearwater rivers. Where exactly have you been fishing, and how's it been?
The lower Snake River has been the best right now the last couple of weeks, from Lower Granite down to Ice Harbor. Fishing's been fairly decent most days, 5 to 7 chances a day. Nothing red hot, but
I'd say 5 to 7 chances or takedowns a day is pretty darn good. I would never complain about that. Now, the steelhead you're targeting, I'm guessing you're getting both the A runs that are those 4 to 8 pounders and those B runs that get up to 20 pounds.
Yeah, we're getting the more percentage-wise, we're getting more B-run fish, A-run right now.
And I understand that the B-run numbers actually are pretty good this year, even though the overall numbers of steelhead is a little bit down on the snake.
Yeah, that's what it seems. Everybody I've been talking to, I mean, everybody's catching fish. Basically, every time they go out, there's a few spotty days, but most every day it's been pretty consistent for everybody catching nice fish over 10 pounds.
Nothing wrong with that. So if folks want to go ahead and book a trip with you, what is your website?
It's salt2summit.com.
That's salt and the number 2 and then summit.com. If you want to book a trip and catch some really nice steelhead on the lower Snake River, not far from Walla Walla and the Tri-Cities, this is the place to go, salt2summit.com.
There's a whole bunch more of the great outdoors coming your way on Fox Sports 1380.
Alaska Fish on Charters has 4 saltwater boats and 5 riverboats along with the best guides to run them. We've been in business for over 24 years fishing the Kenai Peninsula waters. I guarantee great prices and smiles on your faces when you leave the Great Alaska. We fish king salmon, red salmon, silver salmon, and pink salmon, and trophy trout in the Kenai River. Our saltwater boats fish for halibut, lingcod, rockfish, and salmon. Don't miss out on this trip of a lifetime with Alaska Fish on Charters.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business.
Backcountry hunters and anglers, the men and women working hard to keep public lands in public hands. Check us out at backcountryhunters.org.
You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and this portion of the show is brought to you by California Sportsman Magazine. It's the monthly publication covering the hunting and fishing and outdoor scene throughout the great state of California. Look for it at a newsstand near you. Speaking of California, there's a pretty special wintertime event that's going on right now through April 1st. It's called Humboldt Steelhead Days. With us here to tell you more about it is Michelle Fuller. She is the board president of the Mad River Alliance. Michelle, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Michelle, why don't you tell our listeners what's Humboldt Steelhead Days all about? I understand it's a fishing derby, but let's talk about the rivers it takes place at.
Sure. This year, Humboldt Steelhead Days is in its 4th year, and it started as a fishing derby on the Mad River and has now expanded to include the Trinity River and the Eel River, all 3 of which are in Humboldt County, California. And the Mad River has a fish hatchery on it, and so we are allowed to keep hatchery fish that we catch. The Trinity also has hatchery and wild fish, and the Eel River is wild fish only, so they catch and release only river.
So let's talk about how you participate then. Obviously, you're going to buy a ticket, and I'm guessing they're available at local sporting goods dealers. Can you get them online too?
You can. We have an excellent website, HumboldtSteelheadDays.com. You can register for the fishing derby. There's also an Essence of Angling photo contest that is taking place at the same time on those 3 rivers. So photographers or people hanging out with people who are fishing can participate that way. It's one registration for all of the contests, 3 months long. We started January 1st, and we're going through the end of March to allow for various weather conditions and fishing conditions that have influenced us in the past, having a smaller time frame. So it's basically all winter long, looking to get people outside and connected to the rivers. It's a $10 entry fee. So it's pretty accessible to most people, and local fishing guides and outdoor stores are also available with registration and help.
All right. And folks, the Trinity, the Mad, Eel Rivers, all renowned steelhead rivers that you're going to find in Northern California. So even if you're not entering the Derby, it's worth going there and taking part in this fishery. So I understand that you've got cash prizes that total up to $10,000. What's the biggest prize for the biggest fish?
For the biggest fish on each river, there's a $1,000 prize. There are second and third place prizes as well, and the first place photo contest prize is also $1,000 cash with second and third place prizes as well. So there are a lot of prizes to be handed out.
And in addition to just the fishing derby, you've got some other events going on too. And this one is a $55 fee. It's a brewery tour that takes place along the rivers. Tell me about that.
We have two different tours going on. One is for spawning tour of Humboldt Bay tributaries that flow into Humboldt Bay, where a lot of our population center is. There are fish spawning right now that you can go see. So we're leading a tour out to some of those sites for $55. And the following weekend, we have a Mad River tour of restoration sites on the Mad River Basin and Little River. And all of these restoration and spawning tours end at a local brewery at the end of the day.
That sounds like a wonderful way to end a day outside. Absolutely. So last but not least, you're part of the Mad River Alliance. I assume that profits from these derbies and these tours are going to go to the Mad River Alliance. What are you doing?
Mad River Alliance is the founding organization for Humboldt Steelhead Days, and we have expanded to work with two other local nonprofits, Mountain Community and Culture in Trinity County, and CalTrout is focusing their events on the Eel River. And so the three organizations have worked together to shape Humboldt Steelhead Days, and we'll be sharing the profits. We've had a lot of support from the community to throw this event in the winter and get people out there, and it is ultimately a fundraiser for these three organizations. The Mad River Alliance works to be a community organization in the Mad River watershed. We do citizen water quality monitoring and fish counts in the summer. We do a lot of community education and outreach. We work with school groups to get middle school kids mostly so far out on the river paddling and learning about the ecosystem. And we work with other groups locally on conservation and restoration efforts in the Mad River.
All right. Well, we have got to go. But, folks, if you want to find out more about participating in Humboldt Steelhead Days and fishing these great Northern California rivers and going on one of these tours as well, the website is HumboldtSteelheadDays.com. That's HumboldtSteelheadDays.com. Michelle, thanks for telling us all about it on America Outdoors Radio.
Thank you.
Welcome back to America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and we have the opportunity to talk with Mike Salazar. He is the owner of Salt to Summit Guide Service. He's booking salmon and steelhead trips on the Lower Columbia River. Mike, welcome to the show.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going really good. Let's talk about this a little bit. What part of the Columbia River are you fishing?
We're fishing below Bonneville Dam, springtime, March through July. We stay from, let's say, Juana up to Bonneville. And after that, we go down to Astoria for a while.
Sure, absolutely. Everyone loves that buoy 10 fishery in July and August. But let's go ahead and talk about the spring fishery first for those big Chinook salmon. How are you catching these fish on the Lower Columbia in this March-April timeframe?
Well, it just depends on the water levels, basically. On a high water year, you're going to be anchoring a lot more, fishing plugs along the shorelines, and then fishing ledges, drop-offs, and then on a low water year, you're going to be trolling herring, slow-rolling herring.
Interesting. Well, I'm guessing, based on all the snow that we're getting this year, that we're going to start off, at least in the spring, with some pretty high water. When it comes to doing these plugs, are we back trolling here, or are we anchoring and just putting the plug out there and letting the current work it? What are we doing?
Well, I've done both. Basically, you always mix it in with some herring also, even on the high water years, no matter what. Anchoring up, sometimes they'll pass by your plugs and still grab a herring, but 9 times out of 10, high water year, either a jet diver quick fish or just a lead dropper quick fish.
And are you wrapping these quick fish with any sort of bait, or are you using scent?
Yeah, bait wraps are always best. Tuna bellies, a little bit more oily than your traditional sardine, but sardine always works good. Mackerel, even anchovy, herring sometimes, and a lot of times when the water temperature gets up above 53, 54 degrees, you stick a prawn on there and outfish everybody.
Interesting. Very interesting. When it comes to colors, especially in the springtime, March, April, the water's dirty. Are you using chartreuse or something else?
Well, always got some kind of chartreuse green out there for sure every day, but every year seems to make a little difference. Some years purple works really good, and the next year it'll be just the green chartreuse, and one year where orange and red's just really doing really good, and I mean, it changes.
It is, and I've never figured that out. I've never figured out why things change. You'd always think that something that worked 20 years ago would work just as well now, and it doesn't seem to be that way. It's really weird, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a never-ending learning process, basically.
Let's turn our attention to steelhead. When are you targeting those on the lower Columbia River, and are you down there by Sauvie Island or somewhere else?
Yeah, down below Sauvie Island, more around Puget Island. We're targeting those fish June, July.
And those are those early summer run steelhead, and boy, they're like chrome bright when you catch them down there, aren't they?
Oh, chrome bright. I got my first, I think, 15 or 18 fish day down there. Was the very end of May.
15 to 18 fish day. I've had some epic steelhead days where I've hooked into a dozen or so, but I've never done that well. That's incredible. What's the technique you're using to get those into the boat?
A lot of same thing, anchor fishing, steelhead follow the shorelines, bait fishing, either just depending on the tides, the sets of tides you're going to fish, either floating bobbers or anchored up with coon shrimp and spin gloves.
All right. Well, I know that you fill up fast, and now, folks, is the time to book one of these trips, whether you're after spring Chinook or summer steelhead or want to go to Buoy 10 by Astoria. What's the website we need to send folks to?
It's salt2summit.com.
That's salt, and then the number 2, and then summit.com. That's salt2summit.com. Book your trip now with Mike Salazar because he's going to be filling up really fast, and you want to get that prime time. Mike, thanks for telling us all about this on America Outdoors Radio.
No problem. Thank you.
In Humboldt County, something wild happens in the wintertime. Thousands of visitors swim underwater to Humboldt shores, seeking partners of the opposite sex. We're talking steelhead, January to March, more here than anywhere else in California. And we celebrate with fishing and photo contests and $10,000 in cash prizes, special access, spawning and restoration tours, films and festivities for the entire family. So drive, fly, or swim underwater to Humboldt Steelhead Days.
Low-limit saltwater salmon fishing got you down? Don't be sad. Head to the mighty Columbia River and get into the great steelhead and salmon fishing going on this year. Mike Salazar with Salt to Summit Guide Service is the man to go fish with. He's got over 25 years experience and knows how to catch a limit of fish. In fact, he's so confident in your success, he'll guarantee a fish. Book your Columbia River trip now at salt2summit.com. That's salt, then the number 2, then summit.com.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy-gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Tillamook Bay is considered the greatest fishing experience on the west coast for fall Chinook salmon and winter steelhead, and Dungeness crab is plentiful. 5 major rivers connect with the ocean on the Tillamook coast. It's not unusual to snag a 40 to 50 pounder. Go out in a boat or stand on a riverbank or dock. Try fishing from a dory boat and experience the thrill of a beach launch and landing. Use spinners, sand shrimp, or salmon eggs to lure them. The fish will line up to grab your bait. Go to tillamookcoast.com/fishing to find guides and places to stay.
Have you always wanted to go on an African safari but think it's cost prohibitive? Skip Clemens with Adventure Hunts explains.
Decided when I came back off my first safari, it was such a fantastic experience that I decided to target first-timers and provide information to the sportsmen out there that they can go on an African safari for 8 to 10 days and take 8 to 10 animals for less than they could go on a guided caribou or guided elk hunt.
Find out more at AdventureHunts.com. That's AdventureHunts.com.
Alaska Fish on Charters has 4 saltwater boats and 5 river boats along with the best guides to run them. We've been in business for over 24 years fishing the Kenai Peninsula waters. I guarantee great prices and smiles on your faces when you leave the Great Alaska. We fish king salmon, red salmon, silver salmon, and pink salmon, and trophy trout in the Kenai River. Our saltwater boats fish for halibut, lingcod, rockfish, and salmon. Don't miss out on this trip of a lifetime with Alaska Fish on Charters.
You're back with America Outdoors Radio. I'm John Cruz, and this portion of the show is brought to you by the Alaska Sporting Journal. It is the monthly magazine that covers just about everything there is to do outdoors in the great state of Alaska, and boy, is there a lot out there, especially lots of hunting and fishing. Look for the Alaska Sporting Journal at a newsstand near you. We got some outdoors news for you, and I'm going to start off by asking you, have you ever been to the Stanislaus National Forest in California? If so, you probably remember going to Calaveras Big Tree State Park, where you could actually drive through a living sequoia tree. It is the pioneer cabin tree, more commonly known as the tunnel or drive-through tree, and it had kind of an arched trunk at its base that you could literally drive a car through. Unfortunately, no one is going to be driving through that tree anymore. That's because the big January 8th storm that moved through the Bay Area toppled the big sequoia tree. Just some of the damage done by this storm that also flooded rivers, creeks, and damaged homes. So, the pioneer cabin tree, unfortunately, is just a memory now. Moving on to other news. Women in the outdoors are becoming a much more common sight, and that's a great thing. But what many are lacking, and what keeps more women from coming into the outdoors in terms of fishing and hunting and more, is the knowledge that they gain from a mentor or role model. Commonly, this is passed on from father to son, but not always traditionally from father to daughter. That's why several states have programs called Becoming an Outdoors Woman, designed to give women the knowledge and experience they need to have fun fishing, hunting, and being outdoors. The state of Alaska has quite a few events going on in this program that occur during the winter. Here's just a few of them. In Anchorage, there's the Beyond Becoming an Outdoors Woman handgun cleaning and maintenance session, January 24th. On the 26th, they'll be covering maintenance and cleaning of rifles and shotguns, also in Anchorage, and then they've got a hunter's education class on February 19th in Anchorage. Here's the one that it sounds really fun to me, though. Unfortunately, no boys allowed, just women. It's the backcountry ski adventure. It's taking place at Juneau Lake. That's on the Kenai Peninsula, and that's going to happen February 24th through the 26th. Contact the Department of Fish and Game in Alaska to find out more. Montana has a similar program and is offering a ladies' ice fishing class on the water at Lake Seeley next weekend. The website says this event is full, but if you're up in Montana, you might try contacting the folks at Montana Fish, Wildlife, and Parks to see if there are any last-minute cancellations. And in California, it's not the Fish and Game Department that runs Becoming an Outdoors Woman. It's the California Waterfowl Association. They actually have been hosting hunts for women throughout the season. Don't know if there's going to be any of those left with the season winding down, but there is one thing that's coming up. It's brand new. It's the Women's Art Camp weekend, March 4th through the 5th. You will spend an exciting weekend learning wildlife painting, wildlife photography, bird carving, jewelry making, and more. Go to the California Waterfowl Association website to find out more about this opportunity. From Rich Landers, writing for the Spokesman Review, we learn about a photograph taken at the National Black-Footed Ferret Conservation Center in northern Colorado that showed a coyote and badger hunting together on the prairie. It turns out it's not as unusual as you might think. U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service biologists say coyotes and badgers are known to hunt together and can be more successful hunting prairie dogs and ground squirrels when they work in tandem. The coyotes will chase down the prey if it runs, and the badgers will dig them up if they head underground. Next up on America Outdoors Radio, SHOT Show is going to be taking place this coming week in Las Vegas. And one of the companies that's going to be there is Liberty Safes. And kind of a big deal is happening with Liberty Safes. With us here to tell us more about it is Kyle Klaus. Kyle, what's going on at SHOT Show?
Great to be on your show today. But on SHOT Show on the 17th, this year we have produced our 2 millionth safe, meaning that we've built 2 million safes. And we're going to have that particular safe at SHOT Show. It's a Presidential 50. It's absolutely beautiful. It's a custom-made safe. It has a custom interior with a custom paint color and finish on the outside. And we're going to have that safe at SHOT Show at our booth. And beginning on Tuesday, we're starting a giveaway where you can go to our Facebook fan page. That's facebook.com/LibertySafe. We're going to have a link there where you can enter to win that safe. So one lucky winner will be the proud owner of our $2 million safe.
Wow. I'll tell you what, Kyle. Liberty Safes has really made a name for itself. You see them all over the place, it seems, anymore. And I guess that's why you've produced 2 million of them. But let's talk about buying a gun safe and buying the right safe. And it's not just for guns, it's for valuables, it's for collectibles, it's for jewelry, it's for documents. So you've got on your website at libertysafe.com a great quiz that kind of guides you through this process. And let's just talk to folks a little bit about some of the common mistakes people make when buying a safe. And I know I've made one of those mistakes, buying too small of one.
Right, and that is the most common mistake. The biggest complaint, if you will, or feedback that we get from our customers is, I wish I would have bought a bigger safe, because they do fill up faster. More, like you mentioned earlier, they're more than just for guns. They're for valuables, for documents. If you have gold, silver, any family heirlooms, those can all be stored securely and safely inside of your Liberty safe. And so once a husband and wife get together and they start putting things into their safe, they realize that they do fill up very quickly. And so it's important that we always tell someone it's important that you buy bigger than what you need, because you will end up filling that safe up. And so that's first and foremost is making sure that you get the right size safe for your needs.
Something else that's on that quiz and that rings true, and folks, Liberty Safes, you can buy them for as little as $500 and all the way up to $4,500. But when it comes to your safes, there's two other things that you talk about in that quiz there. One of them is how secure the safe is in terms of some burglar trying to do a smash and grab and taking your safe out with them or not. Tell our listeners about what kind of safe they should have if they're away from home a long time.
Yeah, so if you're away from home for extended periods of time, if the neighborhood that you live in has a higher crime rate, obviously you want to consider getting a safe that has a higher security rating. By a higher security rating, we mean they have more bolts around the exterior of the door, they have a thicker gauge steel, and just a lot more beefier and solid safe. You want to get something that's going to keep criminals out, because buying a safe is the same as buying time. You want to make sure that you buy enough time for police to show up at your house and to prevent the criminals from getting into your safe and getting your valuables. There's far too many cases where someone has decided to buy cheap on a safe. They've bought a foreign safe, a foreign-made safe, and they put it in their house, and the next thing they know, they come home and their safe's been compromised, it's been broken into, and all their valuables have been stolen. And the cost of the valuables that you're putting in your safe, when you're thinking of your guns, your scopes, anything else you might place inside your safe, the combined cost of all of those items are far more than what the cost of your safe is going to be. And so it's important that you secure them, inside of a safe that's going to protect them adequately, especially if you're away from home for long, extended periods of time.
One other thing to talk about here, you mentioned buying time, and that comes down to fire safety as well. How long will your guns, your documents, your belongings stay safe? And you have to factor that in when you're buying a safe. And the website that you have there, you make it very clear that it's going to be longer than you think. The fire department's probably not going to come and put out that fire in just 15 minutes, especially if you live in a rural area.
Yeah, that's correct. Our gun safes will protect. They have a fire rating all the way from 30 minutes all the way up to 2.5 hours. And so especially if you live in a rural area, you want to consider buying a safe that has a higher fire rating, that has more fireboard added to that safe, so that it does give you that time, and it buys you that time for the fire department to show up to your house and put out your fire. And we have cases, if you go to our YouTube channel or our Facebook page, or even our website, you can look at videos there, but we've got documented videos of where persons have had our safes in their home. It was a total loss to their home in a home fire, and everything was protected inside the Liberty safes. And so it's important that when you buy that safe, that you're buying a safe that does have the adequate fire protection that you need to allow the fire department to show up, put out the fire, and protect your items inside.
All right. Well, Kyle, we've got to go. But, folks, if you want to find out more about Liberty Safes, again, go to their Facebook page, go to their website at libertysafe.com. And if you're at SHOT Show, make sure you stop by and check out the 2 millionth safe made by Liberty Safe. Kyle, have a great month, and we'll talk to you soon.
Great. Thank you.
We hope you enjoyed this weekend's broadcast. If you're going to be at some of the sportsman shows around the nation, look for us. We'll be at SHOT Show in Las Vegas this week, Tuesday through Thursday at the American Shooting Journal booth during the afternoons. And the week after that, the 25th through the 29th, we'll be in Puyallup, and we'll be exhibiting right next to Northwest Sportsman Magazine at the Washington Sportsman Show. Be sure to stop by. Would love to chat with you about the outdoors, about the shooting sports, about fishing, about hunting. And at the Washington Sportsman Show, we're also doing a prize giveaway, too. Just another reason to drop by. We've got to go. But when you get a chance, go to our website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com and check us out on WRVO Radio. That website, RenoViolaOutdoors.com. You can hear this show and our sister show, Northwestern Outdoors Radio, there. January rolls on, and so do the opportunities to get outside or go to a sportsman show. I hope the good Lord blesses you in the week ahead, and remember, it's your country and your outdoors.
It's time for another local shot of the outdoors. It's the Pacific Northwest edition of America Outdoors Radio, and you'll only hear it here on Fox Sports 1380 KRKO.
We're back with Mike Salazar again with Salt to Summit Guide Service. We were talking earlier in the show about fishing for steelhead on the Lower Snake River. We're talking steelhead that are north of 10 pounds here. Some very nice fish. Mike, what are you doing to get these fish in the boat?
We're basically right now flatlining plugs as slow as you could possibly go about. Using some bait wraps, don't really even have to. Scent, anise has been working really good. Garlic always works great. A crawfish, just basically just slow trolling your plugs flatlined.
And what kind of plugs do you like to use?
The 3.0 and the 3.5 Maglip.
Sure.
Working super good right now. Just the old go-to wiggle warts or wee warts. Working super good also. Just got to get it in their face. 14 feet to 8 feet of water. Stay in and keep it slow.
Now, when it comes to the Snake River, is this one of those rivers where it's selective regulations? Are you using single barbless hooks, or can you use trebles?
You can use trebles, but everything's barbless.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for the clarification on that. And once again, if people want to go ahead and go fishing with you and have a chance at multiple takedowns on big steelhead, what's the website we should send them to?
Salt2summit.com.
That's salt and the number 2 summit.com. That's salt2summit.com. Book a trip for some winter steelhead on this Lower Snake River this winter. Thanks, Mike.
All right.
Looking for the safest, most stable riding boat on the market? Welcome to Stabicraft. Born in New Zealand, Stabicraft has a built-in reputation for making the most seaworthy boats on the market. Heavy gauge aluminum chambered boats with models ranging from 14 to 29 feet in a variety of configurations to suit all your needs. Check out the all-new 2750 center cab, a walk-around design for the Northwest market and packed with industry-leading features to suit all types of fishing, allowing you to adventure with confidence. Book a test ride today at stabicraft.com.
Are you an outfitter, sporting goods retailer, boat dealer, or someone else in the outdoors industry? If you are, you know targeted advertising works best, and what would work better than advertising with America Outdoors Radio? Our hour-long show is heard throughout Seattle, Everett, and the East Side every Saturday morning, and your message will be heard there too. Better still, our rates are way more affordable than you think. Want to find out more? Contact me, John Cruz, through my website at AmericaOutdoorsRadio.com. That's America Outdoors Radio, bringing you more business.